Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Pacific series. We have reached episode 5 and I am no longer going to be giving these things their individual titles. They seem like they're tacked on. It feels like they would rather it just be called episode 5, episode 6, etc. So this is just episode 5. Last episode, we saw the conditions of the constantly raining jungle slowly drive the entire unit insane basically, and Lecky developed an illness, I forget the name of it, but it was causing him to urinate constantly throughout the night, so he was given leave to a medical facility which basically housed a lot of people who were more having mental issues than physical ones. But it certainly gave him a week to chill out, some time to reflect and get his shit together and to get over the illness that he had, and he did all of that. In fact, they offered him to stay an additional week and he was the first one to say no, I'd rather go now, to the extent where he gave his Nambu pistol to the guy who could sign him off for that in exchange for getting signed off a week early. Obviously everybody wanted that pistol in the last episode, so the fact he was willing to just give it to a guy just to get out early shows how much he cares about getting back into the grind with the rest of his unit. So yeah, I'm guessing this episode is going to continue with Lecky getting back to the rest of his troops, so let's get into it. This is episode 5 of the Pacific. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it. I'm going to test my theory that any speech works well when this music is behind it. It's so heroic, I believe you could genuinely pick any subject and it sound epic thanks to this music. From being founded in the ground over centuries to finally being shaped into a usable tool, the art created with those sticks will never be topped. And years from now, when we all look back to this day, we will remember, as soon as the charcoal touched that page, it was there for us. And more importantly, we were there for it, coming together to face a common enemy, a blank piece of paper. Not all charcoal is created equally, but any charcoal held in the hands of my men will be used to the fullest of its abilities. And long after we are dead, and buried in the ground, the charcoal will live on, like a candle in the darkness, illuminating our memories for all who bore witness and all that were unable to do so. Today is not just any regular day. From now on, and until the end of time, it will be known as Charcoal Day. See what I mean though? It's really effective.
When do we say back the attack?
Every chance you get.
Yeah, this is a promotional campaign. Remember your slogan.
This is a shortcut.
That's Virginia Gray.
I'm assuming she was like a famous singer or actress at the time. Never heard the name before though.
Boot camp's a breeze. Kids are sleeping on Mondays.
Man, this guy has returned home to basically superstardom. It's crazy how much of an easy ride he has in comparison to the people still at war. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, but still.
You handle it well.
Well, Virginia Gray just got piped.
Say, back the attack a couple hundred times. Get my picture took, there's not much to it.
You have no idea what's coming at you.
I mean, I can see it from his perspective. That's all he's had to do so far, and aside from, bang an actress. Seems like easy work. I mean, she has no idea what he had to do before this.
I got a train to catch at 0717.
Oh, come on, Al, swing it right out.
Breakfast? Absolutely.
What a crazy juxtaposition. I'm assuming we're going to get back into what these guys are going through on the Solomon Islands. So to see this happening back in America while that's happening over there, it's like two different planets.
I hope I don't freeze up or make a mistake is all.
I hope I can be as...
George, don't feel like you need to prove nothing.
Oh man, his brother's got "I'm going to die" over there written all over his face. Hey, it's Jurassic Heart. He made it.
This sound company?
No.
It's always nice when you get someone so helpful like that. You might as well have given him directions like this. You go that way.
And recover.
If only things worked as simply as in your demo to yourself.
Nope.
A gross close-up shot of a foot sore there, thank you Steven Spielberg.
Let's snafu.
Is that actor in the middle the guy that's now super famous? I forget his name, but he played, Freddie Mercury in the Queen movie and the bad guy in the James Bond movie. I think it is.
Taken.
It definitely is. To be honest, that's what I'd be doing if I was in the military. I'd be doing all the Golden Glove boxing I could. I love boxing, kickboxing, etc. Did it most of my life.
You know where I can find a Howe company? First Marines?
Somewhere over there.
And as unhelpful as that was, it was still way more helpful than the guys who were playing cards.
I don't know, he's ugly. Fuck you all.
Looks like a land crab that once crawled up my pee hole.
Shit! I would rather be shot than have a land crab crawl up my pee hole.
Yeah, we're not so lucky.
What's in this?
When it tastes this bad, it's hard to tell.
Surely that water's at least been sanitised.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Thank you. Heavier reading.
With pictures.
I bet you that Superman comic would be worth double, considering it would be an old issue and having been used during World War II as reading material for one of the soldiers.
Something's wrong. Something's very wrong if you made it through boot camp. Give me a break, you old greaser. Come on.
Get up.
Guy has limited wrestling experience. He wanted to be underhooking the outer arm there.
Try not to dislocate a shoulder or break an arm. We need both human health.
Sir.
Yeah, they'd be a bit annoyed if they both dislocated their arms in that exchange and then were no longer to hold guns. Operation Sitting Duck.
Wall-to-wall rats, crabs, rotten coconuts. Thank God I'm rotating home.
Crabs would be a good source of meat though. I wouldn't be mad at there being crabs locally. Crab meat's quite tasty, especially if your diet is absolutely shit.
What is that, baby food? That might be worth its weight in gold someday. You get hungry enough, somebody want to trade for it.
It's like prison. Rare foods and shit would fetch a high price.
Working party. 3 U-boots go with snafu. Hurry up!
You heard it, Sergeant.
So Freddie Mercury's name in this show is Snafu. I think that'll be an easy one to remember.
Why don't you grab a brush? Give us a hand.
Fuck that shit. I scrub drums for no man.
He's got a really ignorant disposition thus far.
I like to watch the new guys sweat.
What a strange dude. See, how can you be mad at that being the local wildlife? That is some badass food source right there.
You start pulling them out of your hooch in the morning. You won't feel so tender-hearted.
Also, have you guys seen this scientific theory that everything inevitably and eventually will evolve into a crustacean? It's quite interesting. If you haven't heard of this, check it out. I can't wait to the day that I evolve to get crab armour, and hopefully pincers. I'll be like Zoidberg or Futurama.
Here. Thank you. Yeah, sure.
No problem, mate. You were in Jurassic Park. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Sid, what's it like?
There's no Tyrannosaurus Rexes, if that picks the spirits up whatsoever.
And that you can never imagine.
Not to be a prick, but skimming stones into a sea with waves incoming is a completely pointless endeavour. You want to be saving that activity more for lakes and things like that? Yeah, take that shit, Skim. Put him in his place, add him to the win column.
Dear Christ in heaven, would you look at her?
Is that the actress that Bastogne was actually getting to bang back in America? It looks very similar to her.
There we go. What are you waiting for, fucker?
I second that. It didn't even slip her tongue. Fuck these old school movies with their lip kisses. Okay, I usually know my rifles and pistols and shit, but what sort of rifle is that? It's not the M1, is it? Well, when you're finished with crab, there's some potentially nice final courses there.
I believe the angels are shipping out. You might catch them back down at the docks.
I would keep all the other worldly beings on my side as humanly possible.
Kipling. Always good.
Most of these jokers can't read.
Hey, that guy could read Superman comics.
My brother landed in Italy. Tank battalion.
Tank battalion's not a bad job though. I wouldn't mind being inside a tank. At least you get a little room to yourself.
Now that explains it. You're a believer.
Yes.
Is Lecky actually an atheist? Welcome to the club, Lecky.
You go ahead and keep it.
Come on.
Yeah, your one looks a little bit hard to read though. Why is such a dense book created in such miniature versions? You need a fucking magnifying glass to read the Psalms.
When you get to the tree line, remember to clear your weapons of sand. Ornament. Here you go, Marine.
Okay, this is his first taste of combat. Come on, man, if you can survive a giant pile of Triceratops shit, you can survive a little bit of war. Even if they're preparing for the worst though, these new recruits just will not be able to comprehend what they're about to walk into.
I don't smoke. Yeah?
He said that with such confidence, like you fucking will smoke. Either that or the irony of trying to preserve your health while in a life or death situation. No way, that one guy up at the window had a fucking Star Wars helmet on. Is that where they get the design from? Those overly large helmets? Was there people in this war wearing those? What a camera shot that was. Oh man, this is epic. I'm trying to figure out whether these are tanks or boats or tank boats. They definitely have the tread of a tank going on. I wonder how much each of these shots cost to put on screen like this, because they're done so well. This must be where a lot of the budget gets sunk into, shots like this. And honestly, you guys might think I'm being disingenuous and or crazy by saying this, but I would legitimately much prefer marching into this unknown chaos than spending a single night in that fucking rainy jungle. And that is the God's honest truth. Ah, shit. Well, I admire his eagerness to be the first out, but it certainly cost him. This is Saving Private Ryan all over again. These guys are getting torn the fuck up. So crazy, the production value. I believe this show, the average episode was like $15 to $20 million each to film, but you can tell like the last two episodes probably cost way less than that, and then an episode like this would have way more of the budget allocated toward it. Fucking hell. See, nowadays, people would say, oh, this guy's got plot armor, everyone's dying around him. Yes, of course, we are focusing on a guy who doesn't get shot straight away. That's how following characters generally works. The term plot armor pisses me off so much. What do you think, we're gonna follow some random dude who just gets headshotted after 30 seconds? What would be the point in that? It's just an easy way for haters to shit on something they want to hate on. That answers the tank or boat question, I guess. They must be tanks that can also float. Either that or they were in very shallow water when they were deployed. Shit, even tanks are getting torn to pieces.
Goddammit, you gotta get your ass out of that hole right now! Move it!
Yeah, now is not the time to be having second thoughts, mate. You signed up for this shit. Get out of that hole and fight. Jesus, this is like the third time in this show already we have just seen a sea of dead bodies and wounded people. You know what's strange? I had always assumed when I saw adverts for the Pacific back in the day and shit that it would have a lesser production value than Band of Brothers. And also I was not expecting Band of Brothers to have the production value it had. This is indistinguishable from movie quality. Like I said, perhaps the only difference is in Saving Private Ryan, it would have a wider shot, thus increasing the budget because the need for more extras, more explosions going off, etc. But even in this scene, there's been quite a few wide shots which look incredibly high production value.
Everybody, take another salt pill.
What does that mean, a salt pill? Why the fuck would you take a salt pill? Can someone fill me in the comments what that meant?
First team on me, let's go!
Guy got up and got hit by a tree. On top of all the, enemy forces, you gotta dodge branches out here. It's not about dying by tree branch. What happened to Lecky? He was impaled by an oak.
Phil!
Drop my fucking weapon.
Come on, man!
I wouldn't worry about that just now, mate. You look like you might be dying in a minute.
Everything's gonna be fine.
He definitely looks like he's near death. He's got that I don't give a shit what you're saying, I'm dying over here expression.
Phil!
At least the field medics got to him quickly. Hopefully he survives. One thing I like about this war, not that you should like war ever, but one thing I like about this war is that at least it was an even fight. Both sides had tanks, both sides had ships, both sides had planes, both sides had similar rifles, assault rifles and pistols. Nowadays, if you're an American soldier, the enemy is always in an unfair fight against you. You have all the tech, all the resources, and they're just dealing with old school weapons that they can get their hands on and shit. Very rarely is it a fair fight in warfare anymore. Damn, that tank is taking some battering. I guess it needs to be a direct hit with the mortar to actually destroy this tank. They are lucky that missed. Direct hit, nice.
See Chuckler Runner? Nope. Juggins or Conley, H21.
Never heard of it.
I take it Lecky's been separated from any unit members that he knows now. He's just out there by himself with other guys from other units he's never met before.
Thirsty?
No time to relax just now, guys. Get off your asses.
What you gonna do in your stocking feet when the fucking Japs bust through the line?
Yeah, I would definitely keep my boots on. It's like this guy wasn't prepared for what he was getting himself into. What did he expect signing up to the war?
LP's out beyond that. Password's Lilliputian. A man awake at all times.
Nice of you to make the password easy to remember and pronounce.
Hard for the Japs to say. Hard for me to say.
Hard for everyone to say.
We're rich, boys.
I mean, I'm all for looting the dead, but you didn't have to cut his face out with a knife.
Waking up in 4 hours. Anything moves, kill it.
Freddie Mercury is so desensitized to this situation in comparison to the new recruits he's having to hang around with. That was a cool camera shot and use of studio light to show the time passing there. I believe that was just done in real time with studio lighting.
You have to go out there tomorrow?
I'm sure he'll get hardened over the next few episodes, but right now he's striking me as someone that just was not prepared for this and not built for this shit. Okay, and that was episode 5 of The Pacific, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, The Pacific episode 5, what did I think of that? Well, we got a brief bit of non-war with Lecky returning to his unit and reintegrating himself, and everyone was happy to see him, and everyone was chilling out, just moaning about the crabs. The crabs were the most of their worries, and then, of course, the second half of the episode, they were right back into hell on earth, and none of that meant anything anymore in comparison to what they were facing. These battle sequences are straight up incredible. They never cease to amaze and impress me with the level of quality on display whenever we get into a battle in this show. As I said, I was expecting Band of Brothers to be a step down from Saving Private Ryan. It truly wasn't, really. And I was expecting this to be a step down from Band of Brothers, and again, it was not really. Every time we get into the thick of it, it just feels like I'm watching a movie. I would never believe this was a television show. If you just put this on and told me it was a film, I would fully buy I was watching a film with the production values, the amount of extras, the special effects used. I would actually love to know how much of the ship stuff and coming into shore and seeing all the other ships alongside them were computer generated images. I'm assuming a lot of the ships were. That's the vibe I got when I saw the tanks coming off of the ships, that the ships weren't actually there, but it felt like even the tanks dropping into the water were actually there, so I would love to know how much of this was special effects and how much was recorded on camera. I'm assuming a lot of the explosions and things like that were both a mixture of practical and special effects as well, but given the amount of real pyrotechnics used in Band of Brothers, it wouldn't surprise me if more special effects were done practically than I'm assuming at this point. Now, Steven Spielberg, as a director, I think one of the ways he actually fell off in my mind was that he went to more special effect movies using computer generated imagery, whereas back in the day he would have found a practical workaround for it. And I'm an advocate for practical effects all across the board. I hate it when something is done in computers which could be done practically. Now, it's completely understandable in a show trying to show this scale of war that some of it has to be filled in with computer generated images. There's just no way around it unless you want your budget to be $1 billion per episode. Completely understand that. That being said, when you look at Steven Spielberg's later movies, things like the BFG, like surely the BFG could have just been done like they did the giants in Game of Thrones by dressing up a regular man and digitally enlarging him, so at least it was still a real person in a suit, and the only thing done on computer was the enlargement of him into the scene, rather than just a fully computer generated giant. It completely takes me out of the story being told when CGI is used like that, and that's an issue I have with a lot of modern films and television shows. And I will say that because the computer generated imagery in this show feels like it's just exclusively used in the background of stuff to fill in, to add more numbers and more explosions here and there, it doesn't take me out of the show in the same way. I wish Spielberg would have maintained this approach in his later movies, but it's inevitable, I guess, that all these guys go for the easiest and cheapest route, which is computer imagery. What's shocking to me is there doesn't seem to be that big of a difference in budget. Like, if you look at the budgets allocated to Marvel movies, which all have really shitty CGI in them, by the way, their budgets are not dissimilar from a movie that you could probably achieve a lot of these effects practically with. And again, I would actually want to see the Marvel films if they had more practical effects in them. Like, nowadays these actors don't even wear their superhero costumes, they're put on with computers. That shit is just so unenjoyable for me, and I love video games, but at that point I might as well be watching a video game cutscene. So yeah, point being, great to see just a lot of practical pyrotechnics being used and a lot of extras and stuff like that. I didn't detect any duplication of soldiers, but I'm assuming there was a little bit of that as well. But like I said, as long as these guys are getting captured in camera, it doesn't matter if the computer's just duplicating live footage rather than generating footage from nowhere. And this has got to be the most epic battle scene we've seen in this show thus far, mainly because, first of all, it reminded me of Saving Private Ryan, you know, having to go to a beach with heavy enemy resistance, but also because it was all completely in daytime, everything was visible, and up to now we've had some really darkly lit jungle battles. So this is definitely the best battle sequence I've seen in the show thus far, and I can only imagine there's going to be way more of this next episode because they got to go further in now that they've secured the beach, kinda. And the other thing I want to say is, like, that guy from Jurassic Park was so eager to get out here and fight, but he seems to be second guessing everything, shocked at everything, just completely unprepared for what he was getting himself into. And that's almost baffling to me. Like, surely you know how fucked up this is going to be. Surely you are bracing yourself for hell on earth. Anybody not doing so is doing their perception of reality itself a disservice, because that's all you get in warfare, especially grisly World War II warfare, where, like I said, it's pretty evenly matched on both sides with weapons and technology and vehicles, so it's always going to be a grisly two-way battle. I don't see how anybody could get involved in this and expect anything other than that. But I guess he's going to have a bit of a character arc throughout this show, and I expect him to become a bit more grizzled and seasoned as these next episodes progress. But regardless, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next week, because I bet you there's going to be more of this shit, and this shit was epic. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below, and share this around around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.